Welcome, my name is Tom Voles. During this segment, we're going to be reviewing the Makins brand pet memory frame kits. The very first product I'd like to share with you is a single double face frame. This allows you to store one 5x7 photo of your pet on one side and then a paw impression of your pet on the other side. The next product I'd like to share with you is a single turning double face frame. This allows you to store one 5x7 photo on one side and a paw impression of your pet on the other side. This particular frame has a metal clasp and stainless steel ball bearing to make the turning of the frame easier. The next product that I want to share with you is a double turning double face frame. This allows you to store two 5x7 photos of your pet on one side and two paw impressions of your pet on the other side. This frame also has metal clasp and stainless steel ball bearings, making the turning of the frame easier. The last product I'd like to share with you is a triple memory frame kit. This allows you to store two 3x5 photos of your pet as well as a paw impression of your pet in the middle. All Makins brand pet memory frame kits are developed with the highest quality products in the industry today. Makins brand memory frame kits are very durable and contemporary design. Makins brand pet memory frame kits are also very effectively priced. During this segment, we're going to be reviewing unpackaging the pet memory frame kit. First, take the pet memory frame kit and remove the contents from the box. Remove the memory frame kit and the instructions from the protective bubble wrap. The next step is to separate the inner frame from the outer frame. This can best be done by setting the front edge of the frame on the table while supporting the back edge of the frame on your fingers. And then with your thumb pressing down firmly on the inner frame, and this should separate the stainless steel ball bearings on the inner frame from the metal clasp located on the outer frame. Go ahead and set the outer frame aside at this point. The next step is to remove the foam retainer strips from the inner frame. This can be done by supporting the frame kit in the fingers by placing your thumb on the glass as such and then pressing forward gently. Once the foam is displaced, go ahead and set that aside. Next is to go ahead and push the plastic forward and removing those contacts from the inner frame. You should have one piece of plastic, a picture mat, 5 different colors of background: pink, yellow, blue, green, and then brown. And then you should have a second piece of plastic as well, and set those aside. Next, remove the clay from the protective bubble wrap and set aside. Each Makins brand pet memory frame kit comes with 120 grams of the famous Makins clay. Makins clay is sold in 27 countries worldwide and is proven to be an environmentally safe product. The clay is completely environmentally safe, free from toxins, PVCs, and phthalates. At this time, set this aside as well. Turn the frame over and repeat the similar steps. And then remove the third piece of plastic from the frame. At this time, you can set this frame aside as well. This concludes unpackaging the Makins brand pet memory frame kit. The next step is to remove the paper protective coating from the 3 sheets of plastic. This can be one of the most challenging parts of the memory frame kit project, but I urge you just to be patient and take your time. You can start by laying the paper flat, and then starting at the corner with your fingernail, begin to peel the paper back until one corner is exposed like this, and then begin to work that down, holding the plastic with one finger and then pulling at the base of the paper, and then go ahead and turn it to the other corner using your fingernail to get the paper started and pulling it back like this. If the paper starts to run, go ahead and get your fingernail and scrape that paper until it's caught up with the rest of the paper, and then continue to roll that back, holding your fingers on the glass or the plastic to hold it down until you have the paper started all the way down. And then you can remove little bits of paper that remain there. Then continue to roll this back, keeping pressure on the plastic and then rolling the paper back from its lowest point to give you leverage and to keep the paper from tearing as you're taking it off. And then just continue this all the way down your sheet of plastic. Like I said, it just takes patience, and like I said, where it starts to run like that, go ahead and get your paper caught up. Starts to run like that, take your fingernail, just catch that paper up just like that. And continue to roll that back. This paper is very important in protecting the plastic during shipping. It also preserves it for a very long time. Then, as you can see, before too long, you have one side of the first piece of plastic completely free of the protective paper. And then the next thing would be is to turn the plastic over and start again. And then repeat these steps for the other 2 pieces of plastic as well. During this step, we're going to be assembling the picture portion of the memory frame kit. You will need a 5x7 picture of your pet. You'll need 2 of the plastic sheets, and then a choice of your backing. The white picture mat is optional. Also optional, that's not included in your kit, is a 5x7 piece of poster board or cardstock from your local retail store. The first step is to go ahead and take one piece of plastic and lay it face down on the table. You'll want to take your choice of backing. I'm going to go ahead and take the blue piece of backing and placing it on the plastic. I'm then going to take the picture, place it on top, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose to use the white picture mat to place right on top of there, as I think it helps to highlight the picture. We'll then take a second piece of the plastic sheet, laying it on top of the white picture mat. At this time, you want to take your inner frame. Notice that it has 2 slots in one end. On the wide slot, you'll want to set up like this. Take your 2 pieces of plastic sheets with your picture and your backing on it and align it up into the widest slot and gently slide it down through the picture frame, making sure it's seated in the groove inside the frame. At this time, you want to take your foam retaining strip, place one end on one side and take the other end and place on one side, and then just kind of press along the strip until it's firmly in place. And this should hold the picture in place. And that concludes the placing of the picture into the inner frame. During this step, we're going to be preparing the clay and taking an impression of your pet's paw. First, start with opening up the Makins clay with scissors. Whoops. Removing the clay from the package. Inside is some interesting information about Makins brand product, tools, and accessories. You may want to retain that for later. Go ahead and place the plastic bag aside. Inside you'll find the roller, a package of clay, and a double-sided adhesive strip. At this time, go ahead and take the clay, and you can cut off as much as you want to use. I'm going to use about 2/3 of this, so I'm going to go ahead and make a cut, cutting right through the package as such, setting the clay aside, the smaller section that I'm not going to use, and then taking this clay here, removing it from the outer package, and then noticing it has another inner package that keeps the clay fresh and moist. Go ahead and make a cut down the middle section, and then you can set your scissors aside. Remove the clay from the inner package and place flat on your work surface. I have used just a plastic cutting board that I got at a local retail store, and it's just a thin piece of non-porous, I believe it's a plastic or a vinyl, and I find that works best. Then what you'll want to do is take your Makins clay roller and then begin to roll your clay out until it becomes flattened and even. And I usually like to roll it out to about, a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. And if you got a larger dog, you may want to use like a 1/2 inch thick piece of clay. A smaller dog, you can get away with a 1/4 inch because you won't be making deeper impressions. The clay is pretty flexible to work with. You'll just want to make sure that it's even. So at this point, I've got a pretty large section. So what I'm going to go ahead and do and tear off some of this clay, as it's going to be too large to work with. And then I'm going to go ahead and knead the clay. And Makins clay is ready to use right out of the package. There's no harmful fumes or unpleasant odors. And then I'll begin to flatten that with my fingers into a somewhat of a round or oval shape. And then I'll begin to roll it flat a second time, just to make sure I have a smooth surface for an impression. And that looks about right. Now I'm going to take the roller and actually begin to shape the clay into a final shape for the impression. And now that I have a flat, round piece of clay, I'm going to ask for our favorite pet, and that would be Toby. Hi, Toby. All right, here's Toby, and she's going to be volunteering today. And usually you can take, if your pet paw is dirty and the dog is outside, you can take a piece of plastic to put over the clay so that when you make the impression, the dirt doesn't transfer from the pet's paw to the clay. I'm just going to hold the dog gently, and I'm going to take and lay the paw right there in the clay and press firmly but gently, and make sure you press on all edges of the foot and the nails too. And then just lift the foot up gently as such. Okay. Then I'm going to pass Toby. And now you can see that we have an impression of Toby's paw in the clay. Now you need to set this aside to dry for approximately 12 to 24 hours. If you have a large piece of clay, it's going to require more time to dry. And if you have a smaller piece of clay, say a ½ inch or less, it's going to dry at average room temperature in probably 4 to 6 hours. For best drying results, let your clay dry on a cookie sheet so that air can get to the top and front. And then about halfway through your drying time, if the top surface is hard, go ahead and turn it over and let the back side dry. In this final step, we're going to go ahead and take the dry piece of clay which has Toby's impression on one side and just flat on the other side. For this step, you'll need the clay, you'll need the double-sided adhesive strip, you will need the inner frame that was prepared earlier, and then you'll need the last piece of plastic sheet. At this time, we want to go ahead and remove both sides of the protective covering of the double-sided adhesive strip, and then we will turn the clay over and take the double-sided adhesive strip, place on one side, and then we'll take the clay and then we'll hold the frame up. You want to hold the frame up to where you've got the picture upright here, like so, of Toby, and then turn the frame around here, set it down, and take the paw impression. I guess it doesn't matter if it's up or down. I like to see it up, and then just place it in there firmly as such. And at this time, you'd want to take the frame, hold it up to where you've got the thin slot that's still open. Take your plastic sheet, gently slide it into the slot and make sure it's seated at the bottom. You also need your foam retaining strip, and take this, as we did before on the other one, place one side in like such, and then take the other side and place inside like this, and then just begin to work that foam strip in place until it's there to retain it. Then once you have your picture on one side, the impression of your pet's paw on the other, then you'll need the last piece, which is your outer frame. And remember, the outer frame has the metal clasps on each end. You'll want to take the inner frame, taking the stainless steel ball bearings, and place one end in gently, and then just go ahead and with your fingers place the other one in place. set the frame upright, and now you have a completed Makins brand pet memory frame project with your pet on one side, spinning the frame, the impression of your pet on the others. This frame allows you to showcase a favorite keepsake of your pet.